G'day humans, Chris Stead here. I'm at Lenovo Innovate 2024. And behind me you can see the new 2024 range of the Lenovo Legion gaming laptops. So I'm going to go over there and have a chat to the man who's, Lenovo's voice on the new range, and get an insight into the new HyperChamber, which is their new cooling system, which they believe has greatly improved performance, also reduced the temperature and reduced the sound when you are gaming. Also involves AI as well, and AI. So we're going to have a look inside one of the machines and have a chat to Clifford and learn a little bit more about how this new HyperChamber is going to change the Lenovo range, not just these, but also the Yoga books and so forth moving forward.
Oh hi, I'm Clifford. I'm the category manager for Asia Pacific Lenovo. I handle the gaming products category.
And can you just take us through the HyperChamber here and how it looks inside the machine and the components of the laptop itself?
Sure. Alright, so this is our Legion 5i with the new HyperChamber cooling. Alright, so what HyperChamber is essentially Coldfront HyperChamber, right? Is essentially our new thermal system. Okay, it's a more efficient way of delivering airflow to cool the internal components so that we can drive more power while keeping the same productiveness. Okay, so how this works is, if you look at our Legion 5i at the bottom, alright, this is the bottom cover where it looks like there's a huge air intake, alright, but in reality, if you look down at the bottom, okay, we have blocked up this middle section over here, and what we have created is a seal. Okay, so with this seal, the air intake is through the two sides directly over the fans, and when the cool air goes in, instead of a traditional cooling system where air is being expelled from the sides and the back, the cool air is now driven towards the middle. Okay? Now, if you drive cold air through the middle, how do you prevent it from escaping from the other components, right, down the bottom, right, which does not need cooling? Right. The way to do it is through this seal, which connects over here. So we have blocked off this whole component, this part over here, and this is what we call the hyperbaric chamber. This chamber prevents the cool air from them escaping from the bottom. Okay, so air will look for its easiest way to escape, and because of the slight pressure difference, it will escape towards the back, right? And with the hottest heat generating component sitting right in the middle, now the cool air is flowing directly over these components, cooling it more effectively and more efficiently, right? So this is how the airflow moves. And two last piece of the puzzle, right? Hot air expels through the back. The rubber feet over here prevents the hot air from then coming back to the front to go suck back into the system, right? So this rubber feet is to prevent the hot air exchange, right? And last but not least, if you see, there isn't, it looks like you can't find the memory, right? The memory is actually sitting below this cover, right? And the memories on the Legion products are all with thermal pads to ensure that they are all sufficiently cooled and the hot air does not interfere with the memory and heats it up. Yeah, so you get no bottleneck across all the components, your CPU, your graphics, your chipset, right? Your VRMs, your VRAMs, and even the memory. Every single component, right, is well cooled by our HyperChamber system.
Right, and you're saying that this is only in the kind of more consumer models, it's not in the 9i?
Yes, for now we are launching brand new designs on our Legion 5i, Legion 7i, and Lenovo LOQ. So this will all feature the new the HyperChamber Coldfront.
Right, and is there any plans, or can you get it to the 9i, or is it just too much power being pulled there, too much heat?
We are always studying the possibilities, but this is a new technology that we have proven that it works. We are able to drive increase of about 30 to 40 watts generation on generation, right? That's a tremendous increase in power just from this new technology, right? And without increasing the productiveness. we will continue to study how we can expand this to more products, and I'm sure you'll find this across more products in our lineup in the future.
No worries. And also, just quickly, can you tell me how the AI plays a role in this? How does the AI, the new AI tech, play a role in, I guess, being more efficient with the cooling as well? Because doesn't it use AI algorithms to then help change the way the process of performance with certain games?
Yeah, so we have enabled AI Engine Plus. Right, AI Engine Plus works with software as well as dedicated AI chips. Okay, and what the AI chips does is there is machine learning to it to know. It monitors all the sensors across the entire system, as well as the effects of certain settings on your actual gameplay. So what happens is that these processors, these chips are continually learning, right? What happens when it does this, right? In this game, would it be better to set this amount of power from your CPU or GPU, and it automatically balances the power between the two chips to ensure that the performance that you're getting, which is the frame rates, are at its maximum. So that's how the AI learns what's the best settings. However, you still need a good cooling no matter what, because of the amount of heat that's being generated. You still need good cooling to expel the hot air out from the system.
Can we see the chips in this board?
The AI chips?
Yeah.
The AI chips, okay, so the AI chips actually sit, the AI chips actually sit at the bottom, okay, but over here, this region, okay, but because what we have here is actually a layer to prevent the heat from reaching the keyboard, so that your hands will always be cool when you are playing on your laptop, right? So because of that, you can't actually see the chips over here. But if we take this layer off, you will see the AI chips.
All right, beauty. And is this technology rolling out into the Yoga books at all, any of the Yoga range, or is it just with the Legion at the moment?
The Coldfront?
Yeah.
Yes, the Coldfront.
HyperChamber.
HyperChamber, yes. HyperChamber technology works, okay? You will see it across many of our products, right? Not just on the gaming products, right? Because of the technology itself works, we are expanding to even more across our entire Lenovo lineup.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
A device that's above 200 watts and yet reducing the product thickness and the weight to just that 18.9 millimeters, right? So because of that, it requires for us to look at a different way of cooling, and that's how liquid cooling was developed. Now, the Coldfront HyperChamber today that we have launched, it's for a different purpose. If you notice across the range of products that we launched, right, it's actually the mainstream products and below. These are all not the highest end processors available, right? These systems are up to RTX 4070, right? Total TDP of RTX 4070 rated on NVIDIA is 140 watts. Right, so it's a different class of graphics and CPUs that's being run off these systems, and hence then that's where Coldfront HyperChamber comes in, right? If putting in a liquid cooling into something which is mainstream would then be an over-engineering.
But at the top of the range now, you've got the hyperbaric chamber instead of liquid cooling. So is that saying that the new top of the range is now less premium than last year's, or just that you're trying to chase a different?
Yeah, so it's not exactly top of the range. The hyperbaric chamber is on our slimmer products, right? So we're talking about the Legion 5i, 7i, and the LOQ, right? Lenovo LOQ. These are the same slimmer class of products. We have a different class of products which are the Pro series and the Legion 9i, and these are all above 200 watts. So we're looking at two different customer segment altogether, right? And a product segment, right? On one hand, the hyperbaric chamber is on those which are really meant for thinner and lighter mainstream gaming, whereas the Pro series and the Legion 9i, they are all really over-engineered. Like they engineered without compromises to make sure that we can deliver above 200 watts, right? So the difference is this, right? Say if you are a content creator, okay, and if you do huge videos that requires, or even say for example even AutoCAD, right? Okay, and you need to render something that requires hours. Now the difference is something which is on the thinner lighter chassis will not be able to have the sustained power load high wattage across such long period of times. Whereas the Pro series, right, you will be able to see the power curve being at the peak for a much longer time.
Okay.
Right, so this translates into performance. So it really, across our gaming lineup, they are all powerful machines. It's just
Different price points.
different price points,
Yeah.
different amount of performance.
So is liquid cooling being phased out, or is that still something you'll look at for the Pro series?
Okay, the R&D team we are actively looking into different forms of how we can better innovate. But I would say that something which is very exciting for us this year, and that's why we've brought it out, right, is on the HyperChamber cooling. I think you should expect more of HyperChamber going into a lot more products, possibly even across the other product categories. The interesting part is how do we marry some of these technologies that we have over the years of innovating our thermal system, right, to marry them together, and what kind of products that we are going to be driving the market. I think it's about efficiency. It's about think of it like a wind tunnel. We are creating a wind tunnel with which then, without spinning the fans as fast as, but you could move the air flow through the system at that rate, much higher rate. And wind tunnel speeds the airflow without having external mechanical parts trying to move the air.
Back on cooling, so with the Pro 9i, for example, can a RTX 4090 run flat out without any thermal throttling in that, or will it still eventually thermal throttle itself from heat?
I believe our 4090 on the Legion II does not throttle. It's actually powered because 4090 4090 with Advanced Optimus, sorry 4090 with NVIDIA Dynamic Boost,
Yeah.
right? It caps out at 175 watts.
Yeah.
Right, and because our system is actually powered to 230 watts.
Yeah.
Right, 230 watts. So if you do the power calculation, right, 175 with the CPU about 55, you get so 230 watts allows you to run both CPU and the graphics, right, at its 175, and it should not throttle.
Yeah. Okay. So the 230 watts, it can sustain that for a long period of time.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
What's it called? Hypercooling?
HyperChamber.
HyperChamber?
Yes.
So with the HyperChamber, besides the orientation of the fan being changed and also the sealing, has there been any improvements or changes with the blade, the fan blades or design or anything like that?
Oh yes, we actually do develop. We tweak our fan blade slightly, but I'll say that that's just a small part of the overall HyperChamber. I believe that the biggest change actually do come from the chamber design itself. The fans are actually slightly tweaked from last generation, but for the fans, the benefit of the fans is not so much as to improve cooling, but to reduce the noise. So the fan blades will actually tweak slightly to improve the acoustics when you are gaming, so it doesn't come out as it comes out as a whoosh rather than an annoying blower sound, right? Yeah, so it's more for the sound profile.
Alright, okay. So just jumping back on the 9i bandwagon here. So with the thermals there, I did see it's got you can take air in and out, it's got a different
Yes.
in and out.
Yes.
There. So is that because it's an improved design that makes it work better? And if it is, then why didn't we put it into the 7i as well?
Okay. Wow. Okay. So different times calls for different. I think Legion 9i was developed at a different time. At that time, we were still in the discovery phase for the HyperChamber, right? So Legion 9i was more or less like a more traditional way of cooling, right? 4 vents, lots of air intake, lots of air outwards, right? So and then we improve on the liquid cooling, try to stabilize some of these peaks and trough of the performance, the power flowing through the systems. and then of course the heat generated. So that was a different time. But the 7i now, because as we develop and spend more time to develop HyperChamber and to improve its efficiency when we first came to develop it, it was not necessary. So we found that it was not necessary. Targeted airflow, very efficient airflow, still works better for 7i with the HyperChamber. Correct.
So-
Rather than having.
So maybe the next generation of 9i it will be HyperChamber.
I can't.
More
I can't.
so go the other way instead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't review for sure, but I think we are definitely looking into all the different technologies that we know, then our know-how, right? Marry all of them together and see different technologies for different products.
The result of that 9i system is that it's a smaller touchpad, correct? Is that because of the vent on the
Yes,
top?
of course. It was a smaller touchpad, but the 9i in itself, it's still a feat of marvel of engineering, right? I mean, if you are talking about the amount of power that goes through it, it's a 16-inch form factor, right? It has 230 watts. If you look at some of the industry's 230 watts laptops, right, and you compare in terms of size, in terms of thickness, well, this 9i is a different class, right? So how do we, it's like something which, and we are giving the kind of same performance as well, right? So I think a lot of, if you do a lot of reviews and benchmark testing, you'll find that the 9i is able to deliver a lot of the performance which are closer to something which is a 17-inch, 18-inch, but now it's in a 16-inch form factor that is yet like less than 2 cm, right? So that is in itself is a marvel of engineering. Yeah.
Obviously spending so much money in R&D, just trying to get the cooling better, trying to keep the weight down, the AI, all this type of stuff. But then also you've kind of got potential for a lot of this stuff to be taken off device, the processing, the computational stuff, what we're seeing with like Microsoft Cloud, that kind of thing. So do you guys have like a date or a timeline for that side of things in mind where it's going to start impacting the form factor and the cooling and the amount of money that you're putting into this?
Okay, but okay, so that's the interesting, very interesting question, right? Because there is a lot of AI now on the cloud, right? A lot of things can be done on the cloud, right? But now this is the dilemma, right? When you have things on the cloud, there is always privacy concerns, right? Because anything that you want to do through a cloud server, you have to send some data over, right? There is also the backbone of running this cloud service, right? If you should know, like Microsoft, Google, etc. Right? They are spending a lot of resources actually just keeping some of these servers running, right? And then you have Intel, like today, right? You announced chips with AI capabilities, right? And then we are going on to client. I do think that together with our partners, right, enabling AI chips that is available on the client side of things, right, and there are of course privacy and security concerns about sending information through the cloud to the cloud. That I think the future model will be more of a hybrid model, right? I do not think that everybody will be comfortable with sending all the information every time that you want to get some AI assistance, right? Now the beauty of all this AI capabilities now available on the client side of things will only enhance some of this usage, right? So I believe it's a balance. It will not be that everything will be moved fully cloud or everything will be fully client. I think it's going to be a good balance of having some things which are more private to you and confidential to you that you want to keep on the client side, and for things which you want more computational power and you may then harness some of the capabilities of the cloud. So probably a hybrid model moving on.
So we borrowed some inspiration from a movie quote. With great cooling comes great gaming. That's true, right? Gaming laptops feature some of the most powerful components available. So cooling is critical to maximize and fully utilize the performance of these processors. But how do you cool a gaming laptop? Right, we can install more fans, we can spin the fan faster, we put more heat pipes in. But putting more heat pipes in means the laptop will be heavier and thicker, right? We can increase the laptop size, right, to improve and allow for more airflow. These are easy ways actually to improve cooling. But the challenge comes when you want to increase the performance and cooling and yet reduce the noise, reduce the size of the laptops. This is the challenge. At Lenovo, we have continually innovated on our thermal cooling system, right? Optimizing on the performance. And that's why Legion notebooks are well loved by our community all over the world. We first introduced vapor chamber back in 2020, right? And back in 2021, we introduced the AI engine to optimize power between the CPU and GPU in games so that gamers get the best frame rates at any time. And last year, we brought the world's first Coldfront integrated liquid cooling in a laptop. And this year, as the opening video has alluded, we have a breakthrough, groundbreaking technology in our cooling system innovation, the Coldfront HyperChamber. Historically, from R&D, we know that if you want to increase a laptop's power capability by about 8 to 10 watts, you will need to increase the thickness of the product by about 1 millimeters. Okay, this is how it has been for the past years. Okay, that's why powerful gaming laptops are typically much thicker than your average laptop, right? Because of the very high thermal and system power capabilities. Now, Legion Coldfront HyperChamber is different. Traditionally, gaming laptops of the past years, they have 4-channel exhaust from the sides, from the back, and this works, 4 channels. But through R&D, we break through on an innovation. We found that if we created a sealed hyperbaric chamber in the middle, and then we twist the fans 90 degrees to blow inwards instead of outwards, so that the airflow goes directly over internal components. This creates a slight air pressure difference, which then expels the hot air through the entire pack at a much higher efficiency. So the CPU, the chipset, the graphics, the VRAMs, the VRMs, they are all cooled at the same time. The bottom cover is designed to prevent the hot air that's exhausting from the back from mixing with the cold air that's being pulled in. And this optimizes the heat exchange while keeping the keyboard deck cooler. The heat pipes here look shorter, right? The exhaust fans look smaller than previously. But let's look at how this performs. So while keeping the same product thickness, we are able to drive a 25 watts increase in performance. Same product thickness from the previous generation. Same product thickness, but 25 watts increase in performance, yet keeping the noise level down and a 2-degree reduction in skin temperature on the keyboard. Right, so we are increasing performance, yet keeping the sound and temperatures in check. And if you are a gamer and you often game on a gaming laptop, right, you'll know that with the hot air that's exhausting from the side vents, after an intense gaming session, your hands tends to get hot and sweaty, right? Now, with the Legion Coldfront HyperChamber, you won't have this issue any longer, because there's no side vents. So Legion Coldfront HyperChamber is truly a groundbreaking technology that we are so excited to bring to market. And I invite you to join me later to experience for yourself the power of our Coldfront HyperChamber. So I'm really excited, right? Because I'm very happy to let you know that not just do we avail this technology in our Legion lineup, but also on our mainstream locked gaming as well. So you get this across a wide range of products, down to mainstream gaming. On the lock, right? 10 watts increase increase in performance under performance mode. This year, we have enabled a new thermal mode called extreme mode. So what is extreme mode? Right? Extreme mode sets all the performance settings to the maximum at one click, okay? Turning the fan speeds to the highest as well. In extreme mode, we can further increase the TDP of a total of up to 160 watts. And all this on a mainstream gaming laptop. What about Legion 5? Right, the Legion 5i. We increased the TDP by 30 watts to a total of 190 in extreme mode. And even with such dramatic increases in performance, the overall fan noise is quieter. The temperature on the keyboard deck is cooler as well. Amazing, amazing technology. But how does this work on a thinner chassis? Right? A thinner chassis such as our state-of-the-art Legion 7i. Here, we get up to 175 watts of TDP, an increase of 40 watts from the previous generation. 40 watts increase in one generation on the same thickness, and this is all in a chassis that is just 17.6 millimeters at its thinnest point.
Alright, so there you have it guys, there's some insights into the HyperChamber, what to expect and what it looks like on the inside. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel because there's going to be lots more content coming out of this event as I get through it all and start talking to some more of the staff. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Check out my other videos and until next time, check you later.